What on earth is vegan bolognese? Is that title just clickbait? No. Well, maybe just a little. You know how you guys loved the Romesco video? Well, imagine that that video was called Pepper Almond Spread. Would you click on it? Well, the carrot walnut spread I'm about to show you is just as wonderful, but unfortunately it doesn't have a recognizable name. So I thought I should name it. As many great dishes, it was born out of necessity. I was trying to use up a huge pile of vegetables left over after my knife skills class. The biggest piles were carrots and onions, so they became the stars of the dish. They're usually humble vegetables relegated to supporting roles. But you'd be amazed how much complexity and depth of flavor you can develop if you caramelize them. The walnuts lend the dish the texture reminiscent of ground beef, so it's no surprise that when I tossed this puree with pasta, the first thing that came to mind was bolognese. I do use butter and cheese to toss the pasta, but they are not part of the carrot puree, so if you're vegan and have to omit them, the dish is still worth making. You'll need about a pound of peeled, trimmed carrots. Don't shun the big ones, they are often the sweetest. For this dish, you can cut the carrots any way you want. If you want to use this as a chance to practice knife skills, I'll link to my video on claw grip, slicing and dicing below. Let's move all the carrots off the board and slice a couple of yellow onions. For cooking, I like to cut the onions pole to pole because that results in a better texture. And we'll need a few garlic cloves that we'll slice very thinly. Place the carrots into a skillet. Stainless steel works best here. Add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and a generous pinch of salt. Stir to combine. Cover and set over medium heat to let the carrots get tender and brown. Set another stainless steel skillet over medium-high heat with another 2 tablespoons of olive oil for the onions. Since we want our onions to caramelize, we'll wait for the pan to preheat before adding them. Preheating the pan for carrots would be fine too, but not absolutely necessary since carrots don't have nearly as much moisture as onions. You're probably wondering why are we using 2 separate pans for carrots and onions. If all we wanted to do was sweat them to tenderness, we could combine them into one pan. But if we want to brown them, we run the risk of burning one vegetable before the other one has a chance to brown. That's why I like to cook them separately. If stainless steel pans are in short supply in your house, it's the onions that need one the most. Carrots will be fine in any pan. Okay. My pan looks hot. Let's add the onions, a generous pinch of salt, and stir them to combine. Now leave the onions alone and let them brown. When you get some color, stir, then leave them alone again. Do that 5 or 6 times or until you get a lot of browning. While our onions are cooking, let's check up on the carrots. You want to open the pan every 5 minutes and check for browning. If your carrots browned on the bottom, give them a stir. At some point, throw in a pinch of chili flakes or cayenne, but that's optional. When all the carrots are tender and you have a good number of pieces that are deeply brown, you're done. This might take about 15 minutes. Our carrots are done, but we still have work to do with the onions. Once you establish a lot of browning, turn the heat down to low and let the onions stew for about 20 minutes, stirring occasionally until they're soft and jammy. Now our onions are done and we can add 2/3 of a cup of chopped walnuts and minced garlic. Cook it all on low heat, stirring occasionally for about 5 minutes. This will make the walnuts more flavorful and the garlic less aggressive. Okay, everything is cooked and it's time to get out the food processor. In go the carrots, onions, walnuts and garlic, a handful of parsley and a drizzle of pomegranate molasses. Pomegranate molasses is boiled down pomegranate juice that you can find in Middle Eastern stores, Whole Foods and on Amazon. If you don't have it, just substitute 1 teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. Okay, let's give it all a spin. You'll need to stop the processor periodically to scrape down the sides of the bowl. But if you are having a hard time pureeing this mixture, add a bit more olive oil. Don't forget to taste for salt. Mine needed a pinch. A bit of black pepper wouldn't hurt too. And finish pureeing it. You want the mixture to be cohesive but not silky smooth. You can serve the spread on toast. It makes a killer sandwich combined with grilled eggplant. But if you want it to live up to its vegetarian Bolognese name, you need to serve it on pasta or make a lasagna out of it. Since the carrot puree is very thick, add a little pasta cooking water to thin it out and help it coat the pasta. Unless you have some ethical or dietary issues with butter, add a good chunk. I don't know how Americans came up with the myth that Italians don't use butter. Every pasta I had in Italy was loaded with butter, and that's why it was so wonderful. Top with a few basil leaves and freshly grated parmesan. And enjoy! So rich, so comforting. This is what autumn tastes like to me. If you're still confused about why the world needs a vegan Bolognese, make this dish and the answer will be obvious. Because it tastes good. This video was brought to you by viewers like you. If you liked it, click here to support my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the little bell button for notifications, and if you're ever in the Boston area, maybe I'll see you in one of my classes.